And so one thing I've been struck by, we've released like a new AI product recently, and it's a lot more aligned than anything we've done before on the end user and their ability to prompt. And so it has been a bit revealing of like the extent to which a lot of people out there still don't know how to prompt. And so we've been looking a lot at like how can we educate people on that? Obviously, content a huge part of that, but also how can we build into the product putting people on rails a little bit more. And I wonder whether that's a little bit also of the next evolution of a lot of these kinds of products, which is where actually it becomes a software engineering job and a UX engineering job to eliminate bad prompting a little bit.
That is really a clever way to put it. Because I've been thinking about that same coin, maybe from a different side, but I really liked how you just thought of it. I kept thinking that a lot of people think that they suck at prompting. And I think that was probably true at like GPT-3 or 3.5 or whatever it was in the early. Like, it's getting so good now that a lot of the times I'm finding it's just a lack of context. And so you'll have like one part of the team has these guidelines loaded into their system, and then the sales team has these assets into their chat GPT or whatever. I I've been fascinated lately with a term. It's kind of cheesy. I apologize, but like building a brand brain, and just in any system, OpenAI, Copy.ai, whatever AI you're using, where it's like, okay, what is our brand voice, and what does that mean? Like, what's an example of our brand voice? What is the editorial guidelines? Meaning, do we use title case, sentence case? Do we use the Oxford comma, the em dash? What are those nitpicky grammar rules? Do we know about the audience, like who we're targeting? Do we know about our value propositions, the product, not just the features, but the benefits of the features, and which segment of our audience? Once you have that, like in a Google Drive or a doc, and you pop that into any AI system, the outputs just shoot right up, like regardless of the prompting, because it just knows your brand so much better. It just gets it. So I I think I think you're right, and I think a lot of the software engineers' role in that will be what context is needed in which part of these workflows to get the best results for this department, and how do we use it in a way that the results of that are connected to the other departments, so we're not just building
Yeah,
huge
it
silos
makes me
across
think
our
a
team.
little bit of like
Anyway,
I think I
diatribe.
hear a lot more. It might just be because I'm a little bit newer into the space, but I hear a lot of talk about content IP these days and things like that, right? And that connects a bit to the
Sure.
idea of a brand brain, right? It's just fleshing that out more into an actual tangible thing that you can use to educate humans and robots. Um, it's another thing that struck me about your role. Like, so you changed a little bit from just kind of running the content team to moving into more content and product. Well, I absolutely love that. It's one of my beliefs is that that's basically those two functions should be one because it allows you to create like a consistent narrative. We talked about this a bit the other day. Like, has that transition helped you a little bit with building that brain and defining like what Copy AI's brand brain is?
Yeah, it really has. And part of that is just as I was talking with a few customers about the brand brain, I was like, do we even have that? What would that look like? And so I took 2 days and just built a mock one inside of Copy AI. Like, what would this look like? And all I'm really asking myself is what first party data would I expect a perfect intern to know? Like imagine an intern with a photographic memory.
Across.
What's that guy from Suits, that kid Mike or whatever at the main character? There you go. Yes. Imagine that guy walks into your building, photographic memory, and says, "I'm ready." What would we want that perfect marketer to know about our brand? Like, and perfectly. So is our voice the same in blog versus LinkedIn versus X or Twitter or whatever we're calling it now? Are there differences? If there are, we need to have those written out. Like, there's a difference between there are and we want there to be. If there are, we need to write it out and write the rules for it, like we would want our intern Mike to have and understand. We want that person to understand our audience, like who are we solving for? And all of these different first party pieces of data that live in someone's head on the team. And then in some cases, we'll need some third party data. Like if we're writing a blog post, what are other people saying about this that we can use to help our argument with external links? So we'll add some research steps. And then it's just laying down the pipes of like, I want this blog post. Here are all the steps I would do by hand. Here are the things that I think AI could do responsibly. And then here's where I need to step in as the checker at each of these little phases for quality control. It is so tedious And it is so easy. It's both of those things. So it's hard to get done because it's just kind of a slog at the start. But once it's set up, holy crap, can you get moving? You just get moving. We were doing like 20 top of the funnel blog posts a week at one point with our editors and consistently for months and months and months. And then I hit stop and I said, okay, we've got this year 750 new blog posts. They're doing well. Let's do a refresh sprint and prune 25% of those away that we can combine with other articles. And it became this like, let's start making content for our audience and not for Google anymore, because the Google side of it's already baked into the equation. Like our workflow's already taken care of that. So now let's choose things on topics that people care about.
I'm going to turn this into a bit of a
It's kind of a
therapy
fun
session
shift.
now. There's something that I experienced that I want to know whether you do as well. Because I think everything you've just described is something that comes up a lot, and I think it's that actually these days, because so much of the execution layer of what we do is being taken off our plate, or at least sped up massively, there's a lot of value and impact that comes from slowing down in order to speed up, right? And again, taking the time to put better systems in place. There's also a shitload of noise from everywhere about how fast you should be going, and that in me creates this like I think I was just thinking of it as you talked. I listened a little bit as well, but like this like split because you're under so much pressure to do things faster. You know you should slow down at times. It's really hard, and it leads to this like inner turmoil almost.
You're absolutely, it's the overwhelm is huge. Also, for the record, if my voice does nothing else than kick off good ideas, I'm so happy about that. You don't have to ever listen to what I talk. Seriously. That split though is huge. And there's this idea of, but look, that phrase slow down to speed up. I love it. I heard it for the first time uh a few weeks ago, I'm embarrassed to say, which is why it stuck out when you said that. I was trying river surfing. I don't know if you've ever tried it. It's there's a constant wave on a river. There's one in it's really cool. It's incredibly hard to find the pocket to get in there. Like I like surfing. I tried river surfing. I suck at it. And the guy kept saying, "You're trying too hard, too fast. Don't try to stand up. Just hang out on that board and catch the body wave for a little bit. Like just flow with it a little bit." And then once you start flowing with it, you can start to get up and move faster and do some cool stuff. But like slow down. I think just foundationally, a lot of brands aren't even aware of how unclear their current messaging is and how disparate their documentation is through Slack, through Google Drive, through Notion, all those different places. I think most people just need to like clean up their home
Yeah,
first before
that's
they
really
start
easy.
scaling a bunch of garbage.
No, 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 no. I think no. I think it's
That's a mean
fair,
way
and
to put
it's
it. Sorry.
that like flow with it point that you made. Kind of I found really interesting because it's some people do that with grace, right? And I don't think I do particularly. I think I'm an angsty person who always wants to feel like I'm moving at a million miles an hour, and I'm deeply uncomfortable with sitting still. Um, maybe I should take up surfing, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
same here. Well, okay, so yeah, no, it was that. Yeah, the look, the guy, this was very helpful. I took a surfing lesson with my kids in Tofino. Didn't know you could do it in Canada, separate from river surfing. Sorry, this turned into a surfing podcast. The instructor told me I kept falling on these bigger waves. And I like really bad. I'm not a great surfer. And he kept saying it's because you're looking back at the wave. You keep looking back at the wave because you're scared of it. You will go where you look. So you need to look up and out and just trust that you can ride it. I think there's a great life lesson in that of a lot of people are looking back to 2023, 2022. What were we doing then that was working? And there's a lot of comfort in that. But there is this idea of there are changes happening. We got to look where we want to go and kind of just flow with that new change and figure out the best way we can have a good ride with it. And so for me, that was trial, error, experimentation, and this belief that the technology was smarter than I in terms of that first draft, but I was going to be smarter in understanding why we're making the draft in the first place and who we're going to send it to. I think just figuring out where everything fits as we're moving forward into this it's a new phase of marketing. It just is. It's like never going to be the same again. Pandora's out.